Welcome back to the Run Radio podcast. My name's Trina Wilcox and Barry Kopulos joins us. Welcome.
Thank you for having me today.
How are you?
Fantastic.
Good. You are a return guest. I think you're my first, maybe second return guest. So welcome back.
Thank you for having me back.
You have such I guess it's exciting to me, but you've had such a career where you've done a lot of writing, you do podcasts, but you've done TV, you've met lots of people, and it seems like you're always excited to go talk to other people and hear their stories and share your stories. So, what have you been doing since you talked to us last?
Well, I'm about to actually work in a movie.
Okay.
I recently got hired for a movie called 1989, and I'm going to play a hockey fan. I just went for my costume fitting yesterday. The lady loved my outfit that I brought. You always need to bring extra clothes and let them look at that. So I'm going to be a hockey fan in 2 days next week, Wednesday, Thursday, in a feature film. I believe it's a feature film by Eagle Vision. I actually know a lot of production companies personally, so I know the owners of this company. So be interested if I see them on set. They're the producers of the company.
How exciting. What do you like about acting?
Well, I like to see how movies are made. And I also like to interact with the crew people. And interesting enough, when you get onto a lot of movie sets as even background or whatever, they get to know your face, they get to know your name. And when they see you, they said, "Oh, Barry, welcome back. I haven't seen you for a while. What have you been up to?" So you get name recognition, right? And face recognition. So there's a lot of places where I work on film sets that people recognize me because I've been in 20 productions so far. Only in, well, I did outside Winnipeg too, but most of the shoots are in Winnipeg because they don't drive a car. So they have to be locally in the city.
But you do a lot of behind the scenes work too, right?
Yeah, I do. Like, that's why I started up my podcast, Ready, Set, Action, Live, Barry Hollywood, because I found out a lot of people do not know how to enter the film industry. They're retired now, or they have lots of spare time on their hands. Said, "I'd like to do movie work, but I don't know where to go and who to talk to." So there are Facebook groups. I've actually done a webinar quite a few years ago, a 45-minute webinar where I gave education on how to work in the film industry. Is either a background person or a crew person, because I've done both.
What do you like
production
better?
Assistant. Well, I actually got Montezuma's Revenge. You know what that is? Because there's not too much sanitary on film sets. They use those porta potties without soap and water. And so somehow I got connected food to the porta potty, and I was sick for a lot of the day. And they said, "Are you okay, Barry, to stay?" I said, "Give me some 7-Up or some medicine, I'll be okay." So I did last because they didn't want me to leave, right? Because I had a port position there. So yeah, so I think I like backgrounder better because I get to interact with a lot more people. And some of these people might also do crew work or acting work. They might be a member of ACTRA, and you can also interact if they're a member of the crew. Like, there's different unions, right? Acting unions that you can get involved in.
So this part where you're a hockey fan, do you get to speak or is it just background, which is still exciting, but
yeah, normally the roles I've done, I don't think I've done any dialogue that I can remember. It's all miming. And interesting enough, I actually did a series of miming videos on TikTok, and I thought people would say, "What a stupid video this guy made. He's talking, but I don't hear his voice. Does he not know how to operate the microphone?" And I said, they're miming videos because you have to mime, right? And I said, and I made a series of them, and I got about 600 views on each one. I said, "Well, I didn't know that they love my miming videos, but they loved them because they probably never seen a series of miming videos."
There you
They
go.
probably don't, unless you go to Paris, France and watch French theater, right? Then you got mime.
So what do you like about that? Because see, you would think it would be tempting to use your voice. So what do you like about not using your voice and getting all physical about it?
Well, I would say that you have to, take the excitement that you would normally shout out and put it in your facial expressions and your body language, right? You have to exude a excitement, like this. You got to do that. And as long as if they catch you on camera like that, they'll like that, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you have to be excited about a hockey game win, and you have to hold up your hands, say, "Wow, way to go!"
Right.
Like a goal, whatever.
Right.
You hold up your hands, and it's sometimes it's a freelance miming too. Sometimes they might say, "I want you to do a certain way, like this."
Yeah.
Clapping silently, right? And they always give instructions, but some people don't understand the word mime. So they might have to do a few takes, not with me, but with other people say, hey, you actually talked. There's no talking, and you made a clapping sound. We'll put
Oh.
the clapping sound in after, right? In
Aha, I never knew
post-production.
that.
And we'll put the applause in after too, right? That goes all in post-production. So they can, have us clap and then put the audio in clapping sounds. Or if we're
Really?
saying, way to go, goalie, Mark Smith, you scored a goal, they'll put that in post-production. So I've learned a lot about both sides of the camera,
So
post-production and
a lot of times, if you've got all of the extras full in, say, like a stadium or a ballroom, usually their actions are all silent when they're recording.
yes, they are. And
Interesting. I never knew that.
this would be my second hockey movie. I've been in a basketball movie where they played basketball. I've also been in a football movie.
Oh,
Oh
cool.
no, actually two football movies. Two football movies, one basketball movie, and two hockey movies.
Are you a sports fan?
Yeah, I got my Grey Cup rings on today here.
Hey,
These
that's
are the
nice.
2019 Grey Cup in Canada, Winnipeg. We won the Grey Cup in 2019, and we also won it in 2021. So I support the football team however I can, like
Yeah.
low cost, and I also support the Jets. Unfortunately, they didn't make the Stanley Cup playoffs, but I did go to the whiteout game. I spent $20, about
Okay.
two tickets, and I went to the whiteout game. I videotaped everything, captured the crowd excitement, all the costumes they're wearing, and all that stuff, right? So I'm somewhat of a fan, not to go to the games because the games are expensive, right? Especially Jets game, $400 a ticket, maybe
Goodness.
800 for the Stanley Cup playoffs, right? But in my own way, I buy T-shirts, rings, and in my own way, in my own budget, I support the team, right? And I watch the games on TV too.
Cool. Speaking of support with your apparel, it looks like your book is on your tie. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct. Now, I'll tell you something. When I came out with the idea of writing a book and then to market it, I said, now, how am I going to be creative? Because I'm a film guy, right? I'm very
Right.
creative. How am I going to be creative that I'm going to do something that nobody else has done? And I discovered this website called Zazzle,
Mm-hmm.
ZAZZLE.com. You've heard of it? Zazzle?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I've known that they can put pictures on cups, t-shirts, pins, buttons, whatever, right? Coffee mugs, whatever. But I had no idea that this particular company could actually put any picture on a tie. I said, whoa, that's interesting. I said, I didn't realize that. So I played around with the design of it, right? The tie. I said, okay, I'll take the image of my book cover and I'll see it'll fit in the tie. So the first time I did it, it wasn't perfect. So, and they have 100% money back guarantee. If you're not satisfied 100.00% of the production, they'll replace it with another tie at no cost, which they did. So I got two ties.
And you got
This
it.
one's
It
not
looks
bad.
sharp. It looks
But when I
sharp.
wear this tie around, nobody I've met yet has ever said, I've seen a book cover on a tie. Nobody's ever seen that yet. I'm the first one.
Well, and plus that makes them think if they look at it and they're standing in line or something, they're going to think, oh, maybe I should look that up.
That's right. Well, what they'll do is say, okay, let me get my phone camera out. I'm gonna take a picture of your tie, and then I'll remember meeting you because I got the picture
There
of
you
the tie or
go.
you. And they'll go to the Amazon website, which I mentioned to it's on, and say, oh, there's the book. I got the picture. That's the book I want to buy. And they'll go buy it, right? So it's a
You,
good advertising medium, right? To have it on a tie.
yeah, you should do a giveaway where somebody gets the tie with your book, a signed book or something.
I was thinking about that. I was actually thinking about bundling the tie with a paperback book and then have that package sent out to some winner, right?
That would be cool.
Yeah,
That'd
because
be
I
cool.
always want to think outside the box, right? And think a little bit creatively and not the normal way people usually advertise. They advertise on billboards and
Yeah.
whatever, radio, but I've never seen anybody yet with a tie. And I'll just backtrack one point. When I decided to work in the film industry as a crew, you'll never guess what I found.
Tell me.
Take a guess.
What?
I found a film tie already made up
Okay.
with wildties.com. And they had all the props and the sets props on the tie. They had a director's chair and all the things you'd use in a movie. I said, holy smokes, they've got the film tie. I got the last one. And when I wear that tie, people say, oh, wow, what a nice looking tie.
Yeah.
You must work in the movie industry. I said, that's a good guess. You're correct. I do production. I work as backgrounder. So it's an advertising message that you give out, right?
Right.
To say I work in the film industry and I'm author of a book. I alternate between the ties, depending what kind of event I'm going to.
Well, now you've got to tell us about the book since we started talking about the book.
Yeah. So this book that I wrote, Make Quality Connections, I started writing it in May 2020.
Okay.
And it's in paperback, ebook, and I just recently recorded audio format. It's got 15 chapters and 193 pages in it.
Okay.
I know you can write a book in a week or a month, whatever, but I want to write a quality book. I didn't want to rush it, right? I want to write a book that's worthy of the quality of it, right? Not just throw a book out for the sake of throwing a book out. So I decided to write a quality book based on my experiences meeting all these powerful people I met over the past 15 years, such as 2 astronauts from the space station, gold medal athletes, Nobel Peace Prize winner, CEOs, millionaires and billionaires, and actually met these people in person. And I got a picture with them, and lots of authors too, right? So I said, I want to write about my life experiences in this book, which I did. And I'll just go back a little bit because you have no idea, when I came to the city in 1984, I was shy as a church mouse. They always use that phrase, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't talk to nobody. I'd be afraid for some reason to talk to people. I don't know. But now I'm fearless, right? So when I was 16, a lady at the rooming house where I stayed and went to high school gave this comment one day, and thank God it didn't resonate with me. She said, you're always listening to conversations with all the tenants here in the kitchen when we have beers and whatever, but you never contribute to the conversation. And then she said, you will be shy for the rest of your life. Well, I'm only 16, right?
Yeah.
Can a 16-year-old boy be shy or girl be shy at 16? It took me about 5 years or 6 years to grow out of my shyness. And how I grew out was by producing a TV show. When the camera light comes on, you got to talk to your audience. I never froze. I had no experience either.
Really?
But when they said, Barry, when the red light comes on, you start talking to the camera, you're live now. And I didn't freeze. I had no training at all. And it was natural for me. I just needed some outlet to say, how do I overcome my shyness? Do a TV show and just talk naturally to the audience. That's what I did. So I did 7 years of TV shows. So that's how I overcame my shyness.
Wow. So basically kind of jumping in with both feet, then you just had to go.
Exactly.
The gun went off and you went and never looked back.
That's right. And I've actually did public speaking too. Before that, maybe was doing my TV show days, I guess. And people will say, okay, you got to imagine everybody naked in the audience and this. I don't do that, right?
Yeah.
I need to do that. I always say, people, if you have the confidence and you're in charge of the audience and you're confident about your topic and know your topic, you can talk in front of 50 people, 500 people, 1,000 people, if you know your topic, right?
Yeah.
So I was actually the president of a group called Windows Information Network. And one time there was 500 to 700 people that came in for a meeting. I stood up there, and at one point they said, Barry, stop talking now. Get to the presentation. I said, okay, I guess I'm talking too much. So I went and got to the presentation, but I'm command of the audience, right?
Yeah.
I'm in control.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, let's get on with the presentation. Enough intros, whatever. Let's get the presentation. So I did. And I actually conducted a lot of meetings with very powerful people, editors and Microsoft executives of Canada, at my meetings and my radio talk show I did. So I've done a lot of stuff. And people say, are you the same Barry that we knew about 20, 30 years ago? I say, I'm exactly the same Barry. Exactly. I'm just grown up, right?
Just
I
grown
got
up.
personal development now. I'm
Yeah.
trying new things. I'm stepping outside my comfort zone. That's me. And I tell people, don't be afraid to go through an open door. If
Yeah.
I didn't go through the open door at Video on Cable, VPW 11 submit a TV show proposal, I would never got a TV show. Come and say, oh, they're not going to accept my TV show, probably a stupid idea, right? They always think negative, right? And I said, okay, I got a friendship club I'm running. Maybe I can run this club on the air. And they love my idea. I said, I'm going to take the events that we do, all the newcomers moving to Winnipeg. They want to meet friends, make new friendships, and I'll film it and put on TV. They love the idea. It was a community access channel.
What do you say to the people? Because these days there are so many ways to publish and get your videos out, your audio out. And it's almost like there's so much noise, it's hard to break through. I know that just about all of us, it seems like we all have a podcast, we all have a blog. What do you say about pushing through that noise? How do we find the people that we need to talk to so we can make sure our work is seen and heard?
Okay, I'll tell you something. When I was doing the network over the past few years, I actually discovered, a fairly new angle of the word streaming network. Everybody's heard of Amazon Prime for many years and Netflix, correct? And now we got all sorts of new networks out there, streaming networks, right? But
Right.
I discovered streaming networks that were focused on business. And some of them are pay that you would pay money to set up your TV show on the streaming network. But I discovered one of them that's run by the mother of Vince Vaughn, the Hollywood actor.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how powerful these networks were, because
Yeah.
somebody say, I don't need another network in my plate. I got too many places I'm doing. I'm already on social media. I'm doing TV advertising, radio advertising. I got enough. I don't want anything new. But I've discovered that this particular streaming network is either partnered or collaborated with other networks like Netflix or Amazon. So she produces local content that's business focused on her network. And I already been on one of these shows called She Shed TV. And then after the episode is recorded, it goes on to the WTV network to a potential audience of 50 million viewers. I said, whoa, that many viewers? Well, that's all her networks combined together. So if I am outside of the podcast network and they're not hooked to the streaming network, I'll get more viewership, because if her network goes worldwide on 50 million, I don't know too many podcasts that are up to that count, with the exception of Joe Rogan. Maybe he's maybe in the billions of, I think he's number one ranking. But get this, when the lady named Sullivan Boulanger told me where she ranked in the top 50 podcasts, TV shows, and radio talk shows, take a guess where she was ranked. Either the top 50 or the top 100. I forget which one it was now. But take a guess where her show ranked on WWTVN in the top 50 list of podcasts, streaming networks, TV talk shows, and radio talk shows.
10.
Oh, you're close. Number 13.
Really?
So she's number 13 on the top 50 worldwide podcast. I happen to be on that show. I said, whoa, I'm ranked that high because I guest on your show. And then she was also on my show, because I also like to offer reciprocity, right? Reciprocity. And so she's been on my show, Sullivan, and I've been on her show. So that's what I like to do too, right? So that's what I discovered. Then I was at another event back in Vancouver virtually, and it was called the Grand Connection. And I discovered that they also knew a streaming network, which I didn't know that they knew. And this was called Easy Way Network. I said, oh, another network I've never heard of before. And this network was run by a 25-year-old veteran named Eric Zuley out of Los Angeles. So now he's got a network with podcasts. He does special shows, all this kind of stuff, a book, magazine, whatever. And I interviewed him last November, and you can actually take out a free membership to his network. I know how many millions of people he's got on his network. So I'm actually attached to 2 streaming networks, Easy Way Networks and WWTV Network.
Exciting.
And so that's what people have to, they always have to look out for where else can I put my show or my news story that nobody else is using.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got a dog there.
Yeah, here's my co-host.
Oh, I love what's your dog's name? I love dogs.
Desi. It's Desi.
Desi.
Say hi,
Is he a
Desi.
poodle?
He
Poodle?
is a Maltese.
Maltese. Oh,
Yep.
hello, Desi.
Yep.
Woof,
He
woof.
just a lot of times people don't even know he's in my lap, and he's like
Okay.
he woke up now, so I thought I'd let him say hello. So
Okay.
hello,
Hello, Desi. Okay. So so that's what people have to look at. And by the way, I was actually at another big networking event in Los Angeles, actually Anaheim, California, in November, and I discovered a brand new social media app. They said, how could there be another app? We've got too many apps already.
Right.
But this app, get the tagline, create, connect, and monetize.
Okay.
3 words,
I
CCM.
like that.
Create content. What did I say? Create,
Connect,
and then connect people to the content, and then monetize it.
Okay.
And the fellow that created it is a billionaire, and they had him on stage.
Okay.
Wow. And the fellow that bought the product from the inventor, he's a multimillionaire. His name is JT Fox. And he hosted a 1,000-member event in November. And he talked about this new app, which I never heard of before, called QP.me. I said, oh, that's an interesting name, QP. What does that mean? And he said, it means that we're going to create, connect, and monetize the content you put on the app.
Yeah.
And so it's brand new, and I've actually let people know about it. It's free to join, and they have an upsell if you want to get the pro version, right? But there was 1,000 people there. I networked about 50 people. I sold 4 copies of my book because I want to meet people, right? I've already met JT Fox many times, both virtual and in person. And I met lots of other people there, authors, podcasters, radio people, whatever. So that's another app I now have on my phone.
Now, are you getting monetization from it? Is it working well for you in that aspect?
Yet, but I have to connect more people. Unfortunately, because it was linked to my phone number, which is a USA phone number, I lost all the key contacts I entered to that phone number. And went back to Canada, I put back my Canadian phone number, so I lost those connections.
Oh no.
Yeah. I couldn't recover it. So I had to start over again, right? So that's the problem there, because it was linked to my temporary USA phone number.
So you've got the acting gig coming up. You've got a book going. What's next in the near future for you?
Well, get this. You've heard of AI, artificial intelligence. I'm now into the AI world. That's yet another thing on my plate, which is good, because I just discovered somebody, actually the second person now, that's going to teach me how to use AI to develop an online course.
Okay.
Wow. That's in my wheelhouse, right? Because I want to write a course on networking online.
All right.
And I found you the second person just in my email box. I don't know how I get on these email lists, but I'm on the right list, which is good, because he said, I am doing a workshop on how to use AI to have an online course. I said, perfect. I need that. I'll go. I think it's Thursday. I'm going to listen to it, right? And see what he's going to offer. But I was at another workshop. Get this. Have you heard of Forbes Riley?
I don't think so.
Spin Gym? No? You ever heard of Spin Gym? Anyhow, Forbes Riley is a billionaire because she did the Spin Gym many years ago, and she's now quite an authentic person that's got powerful connections. So her daughter, McKenna, only 20 years old, but when she was 16, she became a multi-millionaire.
Oh, goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Holy smokes. And then she invites me on behalf of her mom to say, my daughter, McKenna, is doing a workshop on how to use an ebook to monetize the right ebook. I said, wow, really? You have a
Yeah.
daughter that's going to teach me AI using ChatGPT? Yes.
Yep.
So when the workshop was over after 2 days, she then says, get this, I've now developed 3 more courses. Really? On what topics? Well, how to use AI to develop an online course. How to use AI to develop a sales funnel. I said, really? And you're actually developing these courses? Yes, I am. She's a smart person, right? Very intelligent. A-lister.
Mhm.
So I was surprised that, geez, she's only 20 and she's actually instructing 350 people on how to write an ebook using ChatGPT and monetize it.
Right.
Wow. You
All
see,
right.
that's what I've been doing over the past 3 years. I've been connecting. Have you heard of the book, The Secret?
Yes, I have.
Okay, ever since I discovered The Secret, Raymond Aaron, I've applied the concepts from it and the principles via Bob Proctor, right?
Okay.
Because Raymond Aaron was involved in the movie The Secret. And when
Mhm.
I never heard this word before, The Secret. What does The Secret mean? And now I know all about it, right? I got the book, the audio version, the movie version. And every time I want to connect with somebody, it seemed the universe says, Barry, you go to this place at this certain time, and you're going to make a wonderful connection. And I do. It happens.
Wonderful.
Because I program my mind. You've heard of Les Brown, right? Les Brown? Maybe the
I
black
might
guy?
have.
No, not Les
I don't
Brown.
know.
Okay, so I'm going to be with Les Brown virtually on either tomorrow or Thursday with another fellow named Manny Lopez, and he invited me. I've got lots of Les Brown products on the virtual meeting.
All right.
So you see, I surround myself with positive people, with positive thoughts, and I don't want anybody to be negative, right?
Yes.
Because Les Brown's mantra, it say always think it's possible. Don't use the negative word impossible, because so many people say it's impossible. I can't do that. How are you going to do a TV show? You don't have any training. You can't do a TV show. You always get that, right?
Yeah.
And I ignore all that noise.
Yeah.
I said, look,
positive speak.
Exactly. I'm going to be on Shot TV. I'm optimistic. I'm going to get a TV show. I'm all optimistic. I'm learning TV camera operation. I always think on the optimistic side.
Good. And it seems like you are also putting out lots of positivity and exciting vibes as well.
That's right. And I'll tell you another thing. During the years that I've been on the virtual networking, it was Ron Owen and Randy Penner that are leaders of Business Sparks. They gave me a title, and the title is, and it fits, the Master Networker. I said, really? They said, you're always networking, Barry. We don't network as much as you do. You talk to everybody in the restaurant, at our meetings. You're all over the place networking, giving out your cards and talking about writing a book or whatever. So we're going to call it the Master Networker. So that's my title of my name. And then after a while, I think somebody else gave me this other title and said, now you're always referring people to podcasts, to be in movies or whatever. So now we're going to give you a subtitle called The Connector.
There you go.
And that fits. So I have to fill those roles, right? And I do that naturally. I'm not forcing myself to connect with people, right? I'm just a natural master networker, and I'm just a master the connector, because I want to refer people to podcasts that have been on streaming networks, being written up in magazines, whatever. Do you want to work in the movies? Yeah. Well, I just gave a lady referral yesterday about Facebook groups you can find out casting calls.
Sounds like a natural, wonderful gift that you have. Thank you for sharing it, and come back next time when you've got more to share.
Yeah. Well, I'll be very versed in AI, so that's my next topic.
Sounds great.
I'll talk about.
Go ahead and give people the link to your website.
Okay, so this is the website address. It's prairie hyphen multimedia hyphen productions dot ueniweb.com. If you want a shorter form of that, my link tree is linktr.ee/Winnie Media Expert. That's WINNI Media Expert.
We'll have a link to that when you listen to this on runradio.net. Thank you, Barry.
Yes, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed the talk.